Jim Caviezel nearly lost it all.
Sure. On the way up the hill, he said, "You're a dead man."
In this episode of The Sean Ryan Show, Jim spilled the beans on the most bizarre experiences on the set of The Passion of the Christ, exposing real-life spiritual contention and validating the huge war raging right under our noses.
And he also says, "I didn't come to bring peace into this world. I came like a sword to divide."
If you've ever wondered why things happen the way they do, you can't afford to miss today's video. So hit that subscribe button and let's jump right in.
There are some definite things that happened during that film that I would consider to be a deterrent, especially to weak people. You were electrocuted, struck by lightning. We talked about some of the other things that happened. We talked about, I mean, even from the beginning, when you accepted it, you knew you were going to be shunned. Do you think that was a deterrent from the devil to keep you from doing this?
Sure. On the way up the hill, he said, "You're a dead man." And my response to him was, "Praise be to God." I didn't want to live to see what was going to come from that movie anyway. It might be my only chance into heaven. Now, people can say, "Jim, you just don't know the Bible." Get out. It's what you do. Faith without your works is dead. 1 James. So many people say, but they don't do. And I was doing. And I felt good at what had done and was doing.
Filmmaking might look like another kind of content creation until you hear the things Jim suffered. Honestly, it's great to hear him speak out about these experiences because too many people are unaware of the spiritual side of movie production, including Christians. And this is where they miss it. Movies peddle an idea or an ideology regardless of the direction the overall narrative takes. Whether the story is heavily entertaining, educative, or expository, there's always some viewpoint or some sort of agenda being sold subtly. Stay exposed long enough and it sticks to your subconscious, easily becoming a way of life. Research has confirmed this. Therefore, it makes sense for movies to be weaponized. And when evil is eager to keep billions of people from the truth, it'll stop at nothing to frustrate any attempt to help people visualize the suffering of the one who died for their sins. And even though Jim was willing to defy the odds, he could never have been adequately prepared for the full extent of Satan's plan.
Fifth take. It was bizarre. The wind was blowing hard, and the clouds were. It felt like I could jump up and touch them, and that was very mystical. What was happening in the ground? You could feel something in the ground, and then the wind was blowing. And I couldn't, I could see everybody. There were about 350 people that were around me on a hill. And the wind was blowing, and then I couldn't hear the wind. And I could feel the suctioning occur. And then it was probably more like 3 seconds. It felt like 5, but it was probably less than that. And then boom, it shot me out of my body. I saw the back side, not here. And then I was back. Then Jan Michelini runs over, and I remember looking at him, and all of a sudden I saw his hand blow up. Sparks came out. There was another shot that came down. And then I was in shock.
Knowing that you might lose your career when things are just starting to take off is one thing. Getting hit by lightning twice on a movie set where you play Jesus is an entirely different ballgame. Jim got hit once during the Sermon on the Mount scene, but miraculously left unscathed except for flames on his hair. The second one felt like a certain someone was staging a comeback, and that happened during the crucifixion. The pain he must have gone through and the shock of that out-of-body experience is unimaginable. Not even the assistant director, Jan Michelini, was spared. Like Jim, he got struck by lightning twice, and research shows that 90% of lightning strike victims suffer various degrees of injuries. So, while Jan suffered burns on his fingers, Jim's strikes caused heart complications, which years later left him dead on an operating table.
So I was on a lot of medication until 2009 was my first surgery at Stanford. And then my second one was at Cleveland Clinic in 2014. And that saved me, saved my life. I died on the operating table. I've never told that, but I died. Dr. Gill and Dr. Griffin were my doctors. They witnessed it. They brought me back. But I was supposed to be here. But the reason why I brought that up is I felt incredible peace and love that's waiting for us. And I was looking at everybody running the room, and they were panicking. And they were doing stuff, but they were really scared.
Wow, you remember this?
No, I saw it. I watched the whole thing. And I watched everything. And then I saw them put the flaps on, and then when I came back, that's when it hurt. But I heard the horn go off. And it didn't hurt my ears. But it was like when I first met God. When he asked me to become an actor, I felt this great peace and love.
How anyone can talk about their death so casually is the kind of stuff to find confusing until we follow Jesus genuinely. Knowing and obeying him in life guarantees us a life together after death. And if you have that assurance, what's there to be afraid of? Jim's experience must have been what the Apostle Paul craved when he said this in Philippians 1:23. I am hard-pressed between the two. My desire is to depart and be with Christ, for that is far better. Now you know why the apostles didn't think much about their lives as they served God. The truth is, human life is fickle, and if I had the opportunity to choose between a temporary existence and a permanent one with peace and love beyond understanding, I'd be hard-pressed to be on the other side too. One of the interesting things about Jim's after-death experience is that he could be sure God was in the details because it wasn't the first time he'd encountered such supernatural levels of love and peace. So let's take a look at this.
The reason why I'm talking about it right now is because so many people don't have the peace. They don't have the love. And when I was on the cross, Jesus, he says 7 things. And he says, woman, behold your son. To John, he says this. John, behold your mother. Jesus often talks about who's my brother, who's my sister, And he also says, I didn't come to bring peace into this world. I came like a sword to divide. And that's the generational sin that's passed on. A lot of us lose our own families. He says, who's my brother? You're my brother. We're not of the same DNA, but we're adopted under God. You're my adopted brother, my sister, family. We can have new families, people that support us in our love for him, and you'll find that, it's like how Jesus found these fishermen.
Just in case you think Jim is wrong for saying Jesus came to divide, Matthew 10:34 provides proof. And it says, do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. From verses 35 to 37, Jesus talks about setting children against parents, and also mentions that whoever loves their parents or children more than him is unworthy. Chances are you missed this or deliberately avoided it if you view Christianity as a socio-political club where tolerance is the slogan and everyone is a member. Make no mistake, there is an ongoing battle for the souls of men. Jesus came in the midst of that battle to offer us all a way out. Unfortunately, the truth is always going to be fought by those who can't stand it, and we must be uncompromising towards them if we want to experience eternal peace and love. I can't wait to read your thoughts on this. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you haven't done so yet. I'll see you in the next one.